What's going on, Giants fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And this is going to be a state of the New York Giants kind of video. Talk about the Giants' future, talk about the Giants, kind of the situation they're in right now with, with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, pretty much the NFC East in general, and why I love the direction this Giants team is headed in. Now, coming into the season, I knew this Giants team was rebuilding, but I liked the direction they were headed in. I liked their draft. I thought Dave Gettleman did a very good job in the offseason getting James Bradbury, and he's been our best player overall this year, and that seems like an even better pickup. Blake Martinez has been a very good pickup. Kyle Fackrell, even though he got hurt before the injury, was a very, very good pickup. And, but really besides the whole DeAndre Baker thing, which was, that was his pick, but again, he got involved in the whole armed robbery situation. It was a mess. It really wasn't his fault. So I'm not going to really blame Baker. I'm not really going to blame Gettleman for the whole DeAndre Baker situation, but I really do think Dave Gettleman's done a good job. And I think he has put this New York Giants team in a good position to win. And this Giants team, they haven't been winning much this year. They're 4-7, but again, they're winning their division. Now, it's not a lot to say. The Giants are, not a good team, and they haven't beat a team with a winning record this year. They are on a 3-game win streak. They have not beaten a team with a winning record, but you take a look earlier in the season, and they probably could have beat Tampa Bay if, I think they're, 7-5? You probably could have beaten them. Daniel Jones doesn't throw 2 interceptions. You probably win that game. And, he throws the ball to Deion Lewis a little bit quicker. Who knows? Maybe we win in overtime. The game against the Eagles, Evan Ingram catches the ball. The Giants probably run down the clock, get a score, make it a 2-score lead. They win that game. There's 6 wins. And then the game against Dallas, it was obviously on the refs. They overturned 2 touchdowns. Boom, there's 7 wins. Who would have saw the Giants being 7-4? If you really think about it, the Giants do those 3 little things. They can execute for 4 quarters. This team could be 7-4. This is a very solid football team, and I really do think they're better than their record shows. I really do. I think they're a lot better than 4-7. I don't really think they're a pushover. A lot of people will look at a record and say, "Oh, this team's a pushover. This team stinks. This team's going to be an easy win for whoever their favorite team is." Let's say they're a good team. And no, the Giants come out. They play tough. They play good football. They most of the time they don't play for 60 minutes, but they go out, play tough, and they can compete with these good teams. Even with Daniel Jones injured, I still believe the Giants can compete. I made a whole video yesterday saying the Giants are gonna play tough against the Seahawks. They have a very good defense. The Seahawks do not. If Colt McCoy can be serviceable, the Giants stand a chance to beat them. That sounds crazy, but again, this Giants team is, in my opinion, a lot better than the record shows. And I believe this Giants team is going to get even better moving forward. I think next year the Giants take that big step. I think they, maybe they acquire some guys in the offseason, maybe a number 1 receiver or, an elite edge rusher maybe in the draft. This Giants team can be really good. This team could be a very scary team next year. Maybe a team that the league needs to watch out for. This team is heading in the right direction. I think we have a very good coach in Joe Judge. I love what he's doing with the Giants, in his first season. I think Daniel Jones, he's improving. I think Daniel Jones can be a good quarterback. I honestly, I think he can be a Pro Bowler, honestly. I think Daniel Jones has the talent to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. I really do. I really believe in this kid. Now, you can go back to a video I made after we lost to the Bucs when we dropped to 1-7, the game that he pretty much lost for us. I was completely out on Daniel Jones. I was never a big Daniel Jones guy after the first 8 games this season, but I'm starting to like him a little bit more, and I'm starting to grow into Daniel Jones, and I believe he's the quarterback for this team. And I just like the way the Giants are headed. I just kind of wanted to make a video, kind of a state of the Giants kind of video. There really wasn't much to talk about today, so I decided to make this, a little bit of a state of the Giants video. I love the direction this team is headed in. And you look at the other teams in this division, teams like the Eagles, for example. That team's a mess. That team is a complete disaster. I mean, you take a look at their cap space. Their cap space is terrible. They're in cap space hell, pretty much, going into next season. And they're stuck with a below-average, quarterback in Carson Wentz for the next 3 seasons or 4 seasons, whatever it is. Carson Wentz has been awful this year. He's been terrible. Now, I know he doesn't have a lot of talent around him on offense, but again, good quarterbacks build talent around him, and he just hasn't been doing that. Carson Wentz has been terrible this season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Been one of the worst quarterbacks in football. He's been awful. They have a bad head coach. Their defense is, I guess, it's pretty solid, but again, it's not great. The Eagles are not heading in the right direction. I can see the Eagles being one of the worst teams in football next year. I really do. And you talk about Washington. I think Washington could maybe be a possible playoff team next year. I don't really see it. They don't really have a quarterback I really like in that team. And, their defense is pretty good, but they don't have a lot of weapons on offense besides McLaurin. So I don't really know what that team's going to be next year. And, take a look at Dallas. I think that team's a complete mess. I mean, Dak Prescott's hurt. I get that. But again, you have one of the worst defenses in football. That's one of the worst defense I've ever seen. You know, Mike McCarthy's a bad coach. The Cowboys are completely dysfunctional. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Even when Dak is healthy, they're still not a great team. And I still think the Giants are better with an improved defense. So you take a look at the NFC East, and you take a look at the Giants right now, even though they're 4-7, this Giants team is heading in the right direction. You can tell this team is a lot better than last year. Even though their record really doesn't show it, watch the games from last year to this year. The Giants play tough every game. Besides the Niners game, they play tough every game. The Giants have an identity this year. They did not have one last year. They did not know what the team was. This team, they work together. They work together well. This team, as a whole, as a professional football team, all the guys on the team, they work together well. They get along. They're not dysfunctional. The Giants have an identity, and that's why the Giants have been successful in quotation marks this season. If the Giants can put it together for 4 quarters, which they can, it's an easy fix. This team could be very successful. I mean, if you take a look at the Giants, they have a very tough schedule. Their schedule is brutal, and I didn't even expect this team to have 4 wins by now. I predicted them going 6-10, but we don't know what their record's going to be for the end of the season. They have a very tough stretch, so we'll see what happens. But this Giants team has impressed me. Even though they're 4-7, they're still winning this division. I don't care how weak this division is. If the Giants are winning the division late in the season, I'm going to be impressed. Because if you told me the Giants were going to be winning the division, after week 3, I would think you were crazy. I'm pretty sure all Giants fans could agree with me on that one. This Giants team has an identity. This Giants team knows what they're doing. They play good football, and they have a good head coach. I think they have a good quarterback. This Giants team is heading in the right direction, and I really do believe they have the brightest future out of all teams in the NFC East. And if they don't win the NFC East this year, which I still think they will, but if they don't, they're going to win it next year. Because this Giants team, by far, has the brightest future out of any team in the NFC East, and I don't really think it's a debate. I think Eagles fans can agree with me. I really do. I think if you're an Eagles fan, right now, I think you should brace, because I think you're heading down the Giants' path, because the Eagles are a complete mess right now. And if Carson Wentz doesn't improve, you're going to put Jalen Hurts in there. Jalen Hurts was not supposed to be a second-round pick. He was supposed to be a 4th-round talent, and he doesn't have a great arm. He's more of a running quarterback. I don't think Jalen Hurts will be successful in the NFL, if you're asking me. So, good luck with Jalen Hurts. I still think if Carson Wentz doesn't improve and he doesn't step up, this Eagles team is going to be terrible for years. And they're going to, go down the same path as the Giants will. And the Eagles have been terrible with drafting also. They've drafted horribly over the past couple of years. Jalen Reagor has not worked out. Jalen Reagor has been terrible. I knew before the season, I knew after the draft that pick was not good. They should have gone with Justin Jefferson or, somebody else in the draft, or Chase Claypool, because Jalen Reagor is not that good. He really isn't. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, they took him over DK Metcalf, and it's funny because DK Metcalf absolutely owns the Eagles, which is the funny thing in my opinion, and the Eagles just don't have a lot of good players, really. You take a look at their team. They don't really play exciting football. They're a very dry football team. They don't look like they don't really look like their heads in it. They're not a good football team. They're a pretty bad football team, and they're heading down the path that the Giants were in 2017. That's a bad football team, and they're in a bad situation right now. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better for them. So, if you're a Giants fan, you should be excited about the direction this team is headed in. If they don't win the division this year, which is possible, you could bet your ass that the New York Giants are going to come out flying next year with a softer schedule, and the New York Giants will be successful. If they can put it together for 4 quarters, Daniel Jones doesn't fumble, doesn't turn the ball over, this Giants team can be very, very successful in the 2021 season, and they have a chance to win a very weak division this year, and this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for the Giants. It's only going to get better, Giants fans. This team is heading in the right direction. This team will run the NFC East, in my opinion, for the next couple years. I really do believe that. I love the way that this Giants team is headed in, and that's what I think of that's the state of the Giants right now. I love the way this team is, the direction this team is headed in. If they don't win the division this year, the Giants are in a win-win situation. They're going to get a good draft pick. This Giants team wasn't meant to win the division this year. That's not what they were trying to do. But now they have an opportunity to win it. Even if Daniel Jones is going to miss a week or two, we still have a chance. Because you take a look at all the other teams' schedules, they're brutal. The Giants have a good chance to win this division. They have a good chance to get a taste of the playoffs, host a playoff game. Maybe they have a chance to win a round. Who knows? This Giants team is competitive, and I love the direction this Giants team is headed in, and I think all Giants fans could agree with me. So that's what I'm going to come out and say. I think the Giants have the brightest future out of all teams in the NFC East, and I think this Giants team will win the NFC East a lot in the future. I really do believe that. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the state of the Giants right now. If you're just impressed as if you're just so happy with the way this team is headed, if you're just happy about the Giants right now, the way they're headed right now, I love the direction they're headed in. If you're just as happy as I am, drop a like, drop a comment. This Giants team is finally going to be relevant again, and I'm so happy about it. Giants are going to be good next year, and if they don't win the division next year, they're going to get a good draft pick, and you can bet your ass the New York Giants will win the division at least next year and for more years to come. So that's my thoughts on the state of the Giants right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts on, the state of the Giants in your opinion down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think I think they're heading down a really dark path right now. I don't like the direction that Eagles team is headed in. I think they're going to be, pretty terrible for a couple years. Maybe they'll start rebuilding and get good again, but I don't see it. That Eagles team is really, really bad. So if you enjoy that just as I am, and if you enjoy the way the direction this Giants team is headed in, drop a like, drop a comment. Love to hear your thoughts on the state of the Giants and the NFC East. Love to hear your thoughts on that. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to keep firing at you guys daily videos. Most of them are going to be coming at night. I like to stay up late, so I usually come out here and film these videos at night. So make sure to stay tuned for nightly uploads. It's not going to be like that every day. Obviously, the games are going to be filmed in the day, are going to be played in the day, so I'll do my reactions right after the game. But most of the time when it's not a game reaction, my Giants videos will be filmed probably around midnight, 1 o'clock. I'm a night owl, so I stay up late a lot. So, make sure to stay tuned for my videos. So if you stay up late like me, you make sure to stay tuned for a video because I will be uploading videos around midnight, 1 o'clock most of the time. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys next time. Let's go Giants.